Alive and alert on the north side of the dirt. It is your man D Real coming at you with another Be Real with D Real, where edutainment is what I do. About to hit y'all with a Black Panther Wakanda Forever numbers video because somebody dropped a comment on me talking about, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about when it comes to numbers. Yes, I deleted your comment because you're in denial. But before we get off into what we're going to get off into, let me have y'all do what you always do for me. Comment, like, subscribe, and share the Be Real with D Real page so that when new material comes out, new material, you get it. If you're digging what a brother shoveling, put some dirt in my bucket, comment, like, subscribe, and share the Be Real with D Real page. On our way to 1,000. We on our way to 1,000. And y'all can make that happen. You be a part of that. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Numbers. Real quick, something I want to say. Sometimes newspaper articles, articles online, things of that nature can guide you in the right direction, and they can guide you in the wrong direction. Just depends on what the material in. You know what? Let me just show you. Okay, here we go. Black Panther Wakanda Forever passes 733 million at global box office. So now, while 733 million sounds like a very conquering number as far as box office is concerned, that's overall. That's the whole planet. I ain't had people on other sides of the planet talking trash to me about this movie. I ain't had people over in New Guinea or Tango Pango or Japan, throwing out, oh, you're just a hater. Oh, you're just this. Or, oh, I ain't had that. Only people domestically here in the good old US of A got something to say, got something to argue about. Okay, 733 million. That ain't a bad day at the box office. By the way, that picture of Angela Bassett is absolutely gorgeous. She is a beautiful, beautiful woman. And to you fools back in the early 2000s that said Angela Bassett couldn't play Storm because she's too old. She was too old in the 2000s. Shit, she looked like she could play Storm right now. If it was a one shot, I mean, if y'all got old ass Hugh Jackman coming back to play Wolverine. Anyway, the byline says the film will overtake Thor: Love and Thunder both domestically and internationally in the next few days. Considering that Thor: Love and Thunder was a trash ass movie, you better overtake Thor: Love and Thunder domestically and internationally in the next few days. What? Disney's Black Panther Wakanda Forever has topped the 700 million mark at the global box office after a little over 3 full weeks of release. After topping the domestic box office for the 4th weekend in a row. After topping the domestic box office for the 4th weekend in a row. There's nothing out at the theaters right now that can contend with Black Panther Wakanda Forever. So let's put that in perspective. You're topping a box office that got trash movies out there. The best competition you could get out there right now for Black Panther Wakanda Forever would be Violent Night. There's nothing else out there that could even contend with it. And that ain't even contending with it. So still a good movie, though. I highly recommend Violent Night. Anyways, after topping the domestic box office for the 4th weekend in a row, The film has made nearly 394 million stateside and an additional 339 million from overseas territories for a global box office haul of 733 million. Not a bad day at the box office. But are we raising the bar by asking how did it do in comparison to its predecessor? By comparison, the first Black Panther had already grossed over 560 million domestically at the same point. A cultural touchstone in many ways, Black Panther concluded its domestic run with 700 million, the sixth biggest stateside haul of all time, and ended its global run with 1.3 billion. Wakanda Forever isn't going to come near those totals. I'm glad somebody realizes that. But it's definitely going to overtake fellow 2022 Marvel release Thor, Love, and Thunder in the next few days, both domestically, 343, and internationally, 760. However, the film's chances of outperforming Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness's 955 million global haul are uncertain at this point. Okay. Now let me say this. Marvel Cinematic Universe movies have set the movie profit margin ridiculously high. Okay. As I told y'all in a previous video that no one believed, that counting extra unseen costs that we don't normally think about when we think about how well a movie does, one of those things being advertising and marketing. And when you're advertising and marketing with people like Adidas, when you're advertising and marketing with people like Lexus, you know what I'm saying? American Express, you gonna have to come up with a pretty chunk of change. You know what I mean? So normally that number is usually between double to 3 times what the budget of that movie was for that movie to eke out a decent profit. So, like in the case of Black Panther Wakanda Forever, which I believe had like a $250 million budget, that means, in order to start profiting, they would need to make at least 750 million in order to start profiting. Okay. Now, where is that movie sitting in your list of, it's a success? But I mean, in terms of if it's a $250 million movie and it made 550 million or 650 million, you're getting there, but you ain't quite there. So if y'all want to be in the neighborhood of yay, we won, y'all got to do at least 8. Am I wrong? Okay, what are we looking at here? Box Office Mojo by IMDb. Okay, what are we looking at here? Walt Disney Motion Pictures had an opening. We know all of this, and that's in 4,300 theaters. That's in 4,300 theaters. Come on now, y'all. 181 million. That's nice. That's nice. Okay. It's been out 26 days. Domestically, 394 million. 833,978. That's domestically. That's domestically. That's domestically, not overall. 394 million. Yes, in the United States. Let's talk about that number right there for a second. 394,833,978. So y'all showed up for this movie, right? Y'all showed up for this movie, right? Okay. Let's go blow by blow. Week it was released, 84 million. Y'all was in the building. Okay. That next day, 56 million. That next day, 40 million. That was your 181 million right there. Okay. Next day, Monday, the 14th. That's after the weekend. We don't expect mothers to be going to the movies a lot. You dropped from 40 million to 11 million. 40 million to 11 million. Still same amount of screens, but you dropped. Drop. Okay. Next day went up about 13%. Went from 192 million to 205 million. Okay. Cool. We showing a profit. But then that Wednesday, 35% drop, right? Is that what we're looking at here? Or is this not the site I should be on to be looking up this stuff? I mean, even if it's off by 100,000 here, too, we in the neighborhood. So stop the cap. All right. Okay. 8 million. Huge drop from 12 million. Then it dropped down to 7 million again. So, I mean, I guess movies are supposed to suffer during the week, right? I guess. Yeah, sure. Nobody goes to the movie on a Tuesday. You know, people take their grandmothers or their handicapped family members or something like that, so you don't have to deal with all those crowds. So, yeah, maybe. That Friday, numbers jumped up again. Got 17. So right now, that Friday, just Friday alone, took them to 238 million. That was 238 million on Friday, November the 18th. That's the weekend prior to Thanksgiving. Okay. Here we go. Numbers up, but overall, not where it needs to be. Not where it needs to be. Okay. What's going on? What's happening with, okay, we got Thanksgiving. Let's just skip over here. We got Thanksgiving and the World Cup. So Thanksgiving and World Cup put a bit of a dent in your money-making ability, right? Okay. But then we go Friday, and oh my goodness, Black Friday, they had a nice little turnout. But then from there on in, those numbers are iffy at best. Let's look at that. Okay. At the Thanksgiving, that's a whole lot of dropping. That's a whole lot of dipping. That's a whole lot of diving into December. And when we get to December, we're at single digits in December. Meal 9, meal 8, 4.4, 8.1, 4.9, 1.1, and on and on. So, ain't gonna call it a flop, but we're going to say progressively the numbers are going down, and that's what's supposed to happen with a movie. But my point was, I was speaking directly to people who said this movie is going to be the best movie of the year. So far, say what you want to say, still like Top Gun better. Top Gun still gets my top slot as the top movie this year. Fight me. Okay, number-wise, story-wise, you can say what you want to say about Tom Cruise, but he did the damn thing. Okay, and ain't nobody coming close. All right, give it up. So In my opinion, nah, it's not the best movie of the year. You know what I mean? I've seen several movies that I think are better than Wakanda Forever, but it's not about what I think. What this video is about is what the numbers are doing, and that's the natural progression of what happens to any movie, unless your last name is Cameron or Lucas. Okay. Not a bad thing per se. I mean, they made their money. They took it a nice haul. I don't think they made what they expected to make with this movie. And that was my point. That's what recasters have been saying since last year. You're not going to make what you expect to make with this movie. Recast the character. Now, the jury's still out about whether or not a recast would have been better for the numbers in this movie or worse. I can answer that question by asking another one. Do you think the vitriol, the rancor that audiences would have had for Chadwick Boseman's character being replaced would have affected those numbers to the point where they didn't do 734 million worldwide? They would have did less than 734 million with a recast T'Challa. We'll never know, will we? Because they didn't recast T'Challa. And no, that child is not a recast. That is an additional cast member to the cast. Recast means you take the role of someone who was previously in a movie and replace them with another actor. Toussaint is another character. That's not a replace. A recast, excuse me. Stop saying that. In closing, I just want to say this should be a cautionary tale to too big to fail studios banking on the gullibility of audiences to help them make a profit. That's what we was doing from the beginning, but you know, I ain't gonna sit down and I ain't gonna kick y'all while y'all down, because trust me, y'all are down overall. Oops, hey, I forgot. Disney now owns Warner Brothers, don't they? No, not Warner Brothers. I'm sorry. They own Fox. Ain't that who's releasing Avatar? Okay, probably might not be a bad year for them after all, because Avatar is probably gonna kill the game. But then I'd be shocked if it didn't. What do y'all think about these numbers? Did Black Panther Wakanda Forever successfully do what it set out to do cinematically? Do we like everybody in the roles that they were in that movie? Or are we just cool with more death, people dying, constantly dying? Let me know what y'all think in the comments. And I will be coming at y'all with another one of them other ones. And until I do, y'all be good. Be good to each other.